Cool.
All right, I'm going to start the recording now. So this is probably our 58th Cosmic Dialogue, Rita and I, and we have Melissa Lenz with us. So Melissa, why don't you just introduce yourselves and then kind of get yourself into like who you are, and then we'll go into your Cosmic Dialogue, and then Rita and I are going to supercharge you. So introduce yourself, and then you said you wanted to go 5 years in the future, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll let you just start whenever you want. And do you want us to time you, or do you want to just sort of like let it be natural?
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm good. Whatever.
Let's just let it be natural. Let it be natural.
Okay.
Just introduce yourself and then go 5 years in the future.
Okay. So my name is Melissa Lenz. I am a full-time Beachbody coach. So I help coach people with their fitness and health and nutrition. I'm also going to be training to do some control therapy. So I'll be a control practitioner, which means that I will be doing kind of mindset training and things like that to help people with anxiety in places that they're stuck in their lives and things like that. So kind of excited about that. Just became full-time self-employed, and I am married with technically 5 children and 2 grandchildren. I guess that's all. Anyway. Let's see. Okay, 5 years into the future. So I am now in my early 50s. Have been married to my husband for almost 8 years. We have several grandchildren. The youngest has finally graduated high school and is off to the Army, and is doing very well. We are in the midst of working on making our way to where we want to spend the rest of our lives, and that is down in Tennessee. So we're working on buying land down there to build a house. Career-wise, I have built a company, or my own company, that's made well over $1 million. I have several downline coaches and businesses underneath me that have also made $1 million, more than $1 million. I also run a mindset practice on the side, along with teaching and coaching several fitness classes throughout the community. And I'm still in the best shape of my life, which is nice, and no health problems, and got the hubby on board with me, and he's off of all of his medications and doing really well and fit. I can't think of anything else right now. See, I'm stuck already.
That's all right.
That's okay. Yeah.
It's okay. So good.
You go ahead, Scott, and enhance that.
All right. I'll enhance this too, just because also I know you some more too. So kind of what we do is we reach into our intuition, and we project ourselves also 5 years in the future. So it's been 5 years now since we had this conversation with Melissa, and she has been the trailblazer who has like created $1 million business in 5 years. And you know, that time that when she was first self-employed, when she first like left that job, it wasn't going to be flexible enough for her. There was a lot of anxiety in that point. I remember 5 years ago how that anxiety happened, and like poof, that just went away right away. That went away right away with every little success and every little step that she made. She was certified in this control mindset program and started seeing clients right away because she was approachable, and she was not like the rest of the therapists that people would see. She was actually like them. And in her fitness stuff, she was just exactly like someone else was, and there was no barriers to her. And so it was this no barrier mindset that people had that allowed her to like get more coaches underneath her, and she was inspiring to other coaches. It took her like having to like break herself away from this job and this corporate structure was really stressful. And then without that stress, all these things came in, and she could actually relate to other people who were also leaving the jobs, who were also feeling the same anxiety. And so she started bringing on coaches people who had lost their positions or who said, I'm tired of it, I'm done. And they wanted to better their lives, they wanted to better themselves, and they got on board underneath her with Beachbody. And it took her total separation to really dive into this. And she did have to feel all the feelings. She did have to have kind of a breakdown at first about where am I going to have money. And then things started flowing. In 5 years, she has $1 million business, and she's helped launch a couple other millionaires underneath her. And so now she gives back. She kind of feels like, her fitness classes are more community service now than they are a way for her to make money. Their outreach so that she can meet people for mindset and to bring them into this other lifestyle, this other way of coaching, this other way of being. And it's her way of connecting so that she can rescue folks, just like she feels like she's been rescued in this horrible anxiety-ridden world. And she's able to come in and recognize that. And it's kind of like her fitness classes that she does in person are kind of like her outreach for rescuing people from this abusive, anxiety-ridden world. And so she realizes that 5 years ago was the best blessing of her life to have left that company. And she has experiences from that company that she can share with people about what that other side is like. And people can identify with that. Yet she brings this great way of being with mindset, changing your body, changing yourself. I think now she wishes she would have left that job years before, but she realizes everything happened in the sequence that it should have happened. She got the house first, and then she lost the job. So then she could make $1 million. So it wasn't like she had it all planned out, but she knew that there was a third hand of God that was like working with her to like so that she was put in the right position, the right place, the right time. And then things were taken away from her so that she could actually move forward. And she recognizes that now, that this was God moving in her life to actually put her in that position. And now they're buying land in Tennessee. So, and she's already got in the works to like build her practice in Tennessee for her control mindset stuff. And she's building clients down there as they buy land and as they look to build. And she's going to build a center there on the property where she can actually teach people there, and people can come and see her to change their mindset, change their body, change their life.
And so it's 2023, yes, the end, it's coming into Christmas. And Melissa, you're actually going to spend some time in Tennessee over the holidays, just to feel more at home and create that home and family and roots feeling in Tennessee to increase the connection that you have with people there. But in this 5 years, you have just so many things that you couldn't have predicted have happened. And that's come from that initial experience of leaving your job before you had built your self-employment, before you had built the $1 million that you've made in this time, before you had other coaches learning from you to do the same thing. You stepped into that space of the unknown, and now you look back at that and go, wow, if I could go through that and know where to go to where it got me here, that's all the evidence I need. So you've been using that time where it was really uneasy and unsure, and you were stepping into the unknown to fuel everything since then. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And so you welcome those times when you're going, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's so cool. And so you just go right through that door because you know something great is coming your way, even though you have no idea what it is. So you're trusting your intuition, you're getting more connected. And what you've understood now is that you were feeling energy, information, communication that we don't fully understand, or that the world is kind of refusing to understand, but you have allowed it to inform your decisions in these past 5 years, and watch for the evidence that this extra knowing is a real thing. And that's really what you rely on. And that's what actually your control mindset has practiced, is almost teaching the opposite of controlling your mindset. And that has been freeing. You can use the principles, but it's allowing people to be completely free instead of controlled, allowing their emotions to guide them, allowing to feel all the way through it until that connection and that understanding is right there, just as you have experienced in this 5 years. So you're the example that is a real and beneficial and health-making thing. The more you feel your feelings, the more it just frees up energy in your physical body and your cells. Your cells can finally regenerate because they're not holding on to that thing that we don't want to feel. And so you have just been an incredible example to everybody who's working with you. And that has made everything in your life blossom. And you know that untold opportunities are headed your way. You can feel them. And that's all the evidence that you need. So that's what's going to take you through the next 5 years. Yeah, that's right.
Yay!
How do you feel?
Good. Excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this will sink in more, especially you'll have the recording and you can look back at it and listen to it again and oh yeah, that's right. I'm going to go do these things.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's my, where I've gotten caught up in the past is, you know, I know where I want to go. I see where I want to go. But I don't see the path. You know what I mean? Like I haven't seen how I'm going to get there, and where the work is, or how to put the work in, or even wanting to do the work, to be completely honest. You know what I mean? Just kind of sitting back and letting everything happen. And with everything that's happened in the past few weeks, with making that decision that I'm not going to allow a job to tell me that I can't do the things that I want to do, that I can't be who I need to be, who I've always wanted to be, you know, making that decision has really opened up and shown me exactly what it is I need to do, where I need to be, and taking those steps and doing that work isn't nearly as scary as it used to be, which is kind of funny.
Now
But
that you
right, yeah, like I think for me that's part of who I've always been. So like if I have to do it, if you push me to do it, if you put me on a timeline, if you put me in that crazy pressure cooker type of thing, if you know what I mean, that's when I tend to do my best work anyway, right? So that timeline and that I'm one of those people that I do my best work at the very last 5 seconds. So, and it drives some people crazy, but you know, that's just who I am. But you know, and for me, it's always served me really well, and because that's where my biggest creativity comes through, right? That's kind of where that creativity shines for me. So, but yeah, the last few weeks have just been kind of really, yeah.
would you rather have it just be an easy rather than have it be comfortable and easy rather than waiting? Like, would you like to release that idea that that's where you shine, that you can shine all the way through?
Yes, and I don't know. That's an interesting question, I guess, because and I think I'm learning that, and I think that's part of what this is teaching me, and that's why earlier when Scott dropped off, that's where I was kind of saying that, you know, I'm learning that balance between, and I'm a Libra, so balance is everything, of course.
Me too.
Right. So, right. So, so I'm learning that balance between being patient, you know, knowing that this is not going to happen overnight and all that kind of stuff. But also jumping in, getting the work done, doing what I need to do, but not giving up when it doesn't happen right away, because that's been where I have tended to dropped off, and a lot of people do these days, right? I mean, if we don't see that, you know, that quick response and that overnight success, we give up. And so, you know, obviously the last few years of being a coach has taught me that a lot. But I seem to, and I'm not sure where or how, but I seem to have kind of started to learn that balance, to take the steps that I need to, and take that initiative and do what I need to do, and stop procrastinating and stop waiting until the last minute. But also, you know, giving myself time and being patient with the results instead of expecting it to just happen. So does that make sense? I don't know. Did I just ramble? I'm probably just rambling.
We encourage rambling. We encourage.
That's the ADD in me, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think for me, and I'm just going to speak about me, is that I'm kind of the same way. I will, but I'm starting to feel this, and this is just for me. I'm starting to feel like my feelings throughout this time of, like, because being self-employed, I've been doing it for like, oh my gosh, 10 years. And yeah, there's still some struggles. There's still awesome, I call them awesome struggles. You know, I'm in the messy middle of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, and I go back and forth still, and I still learn this, but I realize that even my feelings of going through the the muck and the anxiety of like, where's the next client coming from? Where's the next paycheck coming from? How am I going to pay rent? Those things kind of, I feel now, and I have to remind myself, I feel now that they are part of my work. So I kind of embrace that as I'm feeling the feelings and I'm working. Do you kind of see that? So I've kind of shifted that. It's like, even if I feel like I'm procrastinating or I'm not productive like the world wants you to be, I feel like I'm still doing the slow work, like walking in the woods, because I need that as part of my slow work. So does that make sense to you at all?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely. Yeah.
For
And
me,
that's what I've been, sorry.
Go ahead.
That's kind of what I've been banking on, and almost banking on too much for the past few years. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because the whole idea of people are watching, and eventually they're gonna trust you and things like that. Well, I kept just banking on that instead of also taking the steps to be proactive. You know what I mean? So like doing my outreach to people, talking to more people, things like that. And I've just been waiting for them to come to me. And that's where I'm realizing that I need to start striking that balance more of, I need to start being proactive. I need to start putting myself out there. And, you know, one of the big light bulb things I had probably about a month or so ago was, you know, just because I'm self-employed doesn't mean that this isn't a regular business, you know. And I think that when we do that, and especially when we become self-employed, we tend to think of ourselves as something lower than a regular business. You know what I mean? So, you know, like my chiropractor, right? He, just because he has a brick and mortar shop to go to doesn't make him more of a business than what I do out of my house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're talking to an artist, so
Right.
a lifetime
Exactly.
of feeling or being told that I'm not
Right.
doing a real job.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and learning how to cross that barrier is where the tough part is. And that's kind of where I think I've been a little stuck. So that's where I think I finally figured out there's no problem and there's no shame in, you know, putting myself out there and saying, hey, this is what I do. This is what I'm here for. This is my business. You know, I have something wonderful to offer to you, and you can take it or you don't have to take it, you know. And not being ashamed of the fact that that's how I make my money. So,
Yeah.
but sorry, I know we're off track from what we originally came here for.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Scott and I go like we can turn worlds upside down. So I don't know what you signed on for here. So I'm just sort of letting things.
Well, Scott knows me. I'm usually after talking about whatever. So he and I actually sat and had one heck of a conversation at dinner one night.
Mm-hmm.
So where we really got to know each other more, and figured out that we're kind of more like brother and sister than we probably ever realized. So it was kind of funny.
Totally. Yeah.
Right.
And Rita, I'm just gonna like throw this out to you because I know what you're going to say. So let's share with Melissa a little bit about marketing. And I kind of know what you're going to say, and about, you know, who's your marketing director?
Me? My marketing director?
You were our marketing directors. So, and then maybe that, and I think I know what you, because I felt something that you were going to say something when she was talking about building her business and putting herself out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I feel and I understand the confusion, the wanting to assist people, wanting to help people, feeling the struggles that people go through, but also feeling like that's almost grandiose to think that you can help them.
Mm-hmm.
And so as far as as I think Scott was referring to, my marketing director, if you can see this whole big board of circles up here, these are I call them my board of directors. They watch over everything that goes on here, and they have an energy to them. And so as I started living with them, I would just sort of like, man, did you see what happened? What do you think about that? Because I'm alone here in the studio, so I started to feel like there was a presence here, seeing what was going on, and that has been much more useful than the usual marketing strategy, especially what has been for several years being taught is how you have to go about marketing, especially if a lot of your business is online. So, did you know something more brilliant that I was going to say?
Well, I think what I was really, yeah. All right. Well, okay. I think what I was more like I'll just pose the question, like, how do you feel when I say things like, because I know your faith background and I know all this stuff too, but how does it feel to you if I tell you that that God's got your marketing under control and that you can rely on that more than you can rely on the world? How does that feel for you? How does that sit for you?
You talking to me or her?
Yeah, Melissa.
Oh. Yeah, and that's actually what I've been doing a lot more of, is giving that control over, so that I don't feel that anxiety, you know what I mean? And that and just letting it be.
Oh, I know something more brilliant now.
Brought it out in her.
I kind of left it as, okay, great. They tell me what's going on. But since then, people have been coming to me for their own circle to have in their space. And that was something a year ago wasn't anywhere on the radar. I've channeled 2 books that one of them is ready and the other one is on the way. Scott and I are starting a nonprofit. So many things come about. Well, plus this kind of artwork that, is very different from this.
Mm-hmm.
That was not happening a year ago. And that's all from just what Scott was saying. Am I going to trust this feeling I have, this knowing, this message, or am I going to push forward? This is my comfort zone. I've been in it a long time. Or am I going to get my ass kicked again in order to get me to follow the messages. Which one?
Right. Yeah, and that's ultimately where what I've come to. You know, that's really exactly, in fact, that's exactly where I came to was, you know, am I going to keep going through this day in and day out? Am I going to keep worrying and keep, oh my gosh, just dying every single day in this job that was just going absolutely nowhere? And while it gave me peace of mind when it came to, you know, health insurance and a paycheck every other week that I could count on, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And yes, it was nice because I got to work from home and I didn't have to drive into work every day, and, you know, things like that. And there was a lot of good things about that job, but there was so much bad about that job, you know, and about a job period that was just killing my spirit inside, you know. And or was I going to take this opportunity that at every turn was just plopping itself right in front of my face, you know? So and God was just smacking me in the face at every turn, going, hello, 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 I'm putting this in front of you for a reason, you know. And or am I going to just ignore it and put my head down again and, you know, keep going forward and keep banging my head into this wall? So yeah, that was the same thing. And while it was scary as all get out, as you know, it's really the best I've felt in I don't know how long, you know. And just, yeah, I mean, I can't, whatever. I don't know. I mean, Scott kind of knows some of it because, you know, he knows a little more of my background of, you know, the horrible and damaging and physically and emotionally damaging marriage that I came from, you know. And I found this completely amazing and gentle and, oh my God, gift from God that I have in my husband now, that Scott grew up with, so he knows the kind of person he is, and, you know, that I never thought I'd ever be able to find in my life. And now I get to do this too. And it's mind blowing to me that there's so much good that's actually coming. So anyway.
Okay,
yeah,
so when are you going to believe it?
When am I going to believe it? I know. And yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the part I'm having, like, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But yeah, it's still, yeah. So, you know, as you know, when you grow up with people in your life that beat you down like crazy all the time, every single day, and tell you you're not worth anything and you can't do it because, you know, it's not worth it, or you're not worth it, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Yeah, when you start to get all of these things and things start to happen, and it makes it really scary because, like you said, you know, you're in that comfort zone and in that little box, and that box becomes comfortable even though it's cramped as hell. And you can't move and you can't do anything. It's completely uncomfortable. And then, you know, there's so much that you want to do and you want to see, but this is comfortable. And if you go outside that box, you might get hurt. So, you know, you learn to live in that little box. And yeah, and once you start to step outside and you find out it's okay, and you're going, okay, but when's that other shoe gonna drop? So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, but I think with, you know, I've been so incredibly lucky, as I said, number one, to have my husband, number two, to start meeting all of the amazing people that I've met, not just through Beachbody and the amazing friends I have there, but, you know, meeting Scott and having this amazing connection with him, and having somebody that completely believes in me, which is amazing. And now meeting you, Rita, I love it. You know, and people who understand that growing outside of that box is okay and there's nothing wrong with it, you know, and that you can do these things and you can fall on your face and that's fine and you'll be okay and you'll recover. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it's craziness. I'm rambling again, but anyway.
We love crazy. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, you got it right here. So, you know.
It's kind of like that. And I don't like to quote people, but what is that Steve Jobs thing about, you know, the crazy folks are the ones who shift us forward. They're the ones who, you know, they move us to new places. So it's, I try and believe that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just, it's been crazy. It's, yeah, just crazy. That's all I can say. I mean, then, yeah. So, but, yeah. A little nerve-wracking, but.
Well, I think from 5 years from now, you'll look back at this and I kind of wonder what you'll be thinking. So, yeah.
I know. And actually, that's one of the things that I keep, that's actually one of the things that I keep in my brain is of what I'm going to be looking back at. So it's really funny that we did this because it's one of the things that I keep projecting. I don't know if that's the word I want to use, but I keep thinking to myself, I'm going to look back at this. I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I remember how nervous I was, you know, oh my gosh, I remember how, you know, how close we were to, you know, we just bought the house and I thought it was going to end up making us lose the house. And, you know, I mean, I keep thinking about the fact that I'm gonna look back on this. I'm gonna say, look what you did, look what you built. You know, look how far you've come from that day. So.
So, do you work with anyone for you rather than for them?
No. No, I don't. Not right now.
It's tough to do on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I do daily personal development on my own. But I don't have I don't have like a coach or, I mean, other than my own fitness coach, which that's just, at this point, she's just my upline, you know, with Natalie. And even Natalie wasn't my original coach. So but yeah, I mean, and actually I was thinking, Scott, that maybe you and I could set up a regular time to just chat.
I would love that. That'd be great. So.
You know? So
yeah.
Just as a friend thing, you know, once a week, get on and just shoot. So.
All right. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's the way Rita and I have been doing this for almost a year now, and it's changed our lives. I think it's really changed. Having what I call a believing mirror, who you can check in with.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty life changing. So it's nice. It's really nice.
Well, in the Beachbody community, we call it a success partner. That's mainly for business, right? So we do sounding board for business and support for business and stuff like that. But I think the thing that I like with you, Scott, is that since you know, the family and everything else, you know, it's nice to have that friendship part too of somebody that I can. And since you know what it's like to be an entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
self-employed. Yeah, it's nice to have somebody who I can bounce that stuff off of too. So
Well, I'm sure you'll get your wings pretty quick, and then other people will be coming to you the same way. So you will get your wings fast. So I have total faith in that.
thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we'll be in touch. Rita, anything else you want to add before I stop the recording and then we talk amongst ourselves?
No, I'm good. Very,
Mhm.
it's great talking with, well, you always, Scott, and great meeting you, Melissa.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Right.